Unbelievable transformation. How one woman amazingly confronted a mafia boss and changed everything. Sarah Johnson felt the weight of Millville on her shoulders as she hurried through the hospital's corridors. A mixture of exhaustion and determination coursed through her mind racing with thoughts of her long shift, her parents' health, and the brewing rebellion of her teenage daughter, Mia. She glanced at the clock. Yet another hour vanished without notice. She was a nurse, yes, but to her family, she was also the caretaker, managing the home and keeping them afloat amid the relentless tide of bills. Despite the steady rhythm of life, the constant need for vigilance gnawed at her insides. Last week, for the first time, Tony Russo's name entered her life like a dark cloud, sharp and foreboding. The local mafia boss reigned over Millville with tactics that felt as heavy as her frail father's breaths, desperate and rattled as they haunted the family diner, the legacy of her grandfather. She feared not just for the diner, but for the essence of her family. It stood as the last remnant of warmth in a world filled with fading memories. As she cleaned up an elderly patient in her care, the all-too-familiar knot formed in her stomach. Could she really allow Tony to take their diner? Every forced smile on her father's face, every feigned cheerfulness swept away by illness, was a reminder that they needed the diner more than ever. It was a lifeline, no, the anchor that kept them from drifting apart. In a moment of reckless courage, propelled by love and loyalty, Sarah decided to confront Tony at the diner itself. Just the thought of it sent shivers through her. She wrestled with doubts, her pulse quickening with each escalating image of what might happen. She felt small, facing a man whose shadow loomed larger than life itself. Would she be enough? Maneuvering through a world she never wanted to enter, she continually questioned her motive. Was this bravery or betrayal? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The diner's doors squeaked open, slicing through the silence as she stepped inside. The familiar sense of sizzling bacon and coffee, once soothing, now felt suffocating. Her memories clashed with the current reality. Laughter echoed with her childhood, a haunting reminder mixed with tension. Tony sat at a booth, arrogance painted across his face, looking at her as though he could see into her very soul. "You're playing with fire, Sarah," he sneered, his voice coated in honeyed malice. Just as her resolve wavered, she remembered her father's frail figure hunched in the living room and Mia's rebellious spirit that twisted at her heart, a silent call for strength. The stakes were higher than she anticipated, spiraling into a chaotic abyss of desperation. It was a volatile dance on the edge of a knife, loyalty versus risk, love versus the instinct to flee. Was she even ready for the repercussions of standing up to a menace like Tony Russo? Doubt settled heavily in her chest, mingling with an ignited flame of determination. With her family's legacy teetering on the brink, the choice before her was eerily clear. As she locked eyes with Tony, something inside her solidified. She possessed a flicker of power. But just as she prepared to unveil her intentions, a stark realization crashed over her. Facing him head-on might either illuminate the path forward or plunge them all into darkness. In that charged moment of vulnerability and courage, she took a breath, each inhalation trembling with the weight of everything she had to lose. Millville still held its breath, suspended in uncertainty, as she stood ready to fight for the legacy that threatened to slip through her fingers. Sarah drew a deep breath, steeling herself as she focused on the man before her. The diner buzzed with the low whispers of regulars exchanging uncertain glances, tension taut in the air. There was no turning back now. The choice she had made was irrevocable. "Tony," she began, her voice steady but tinged with the urgency she felt surging within her. She couldn't afford to appear weak, even if her pulse raced. "You can't take this diner from my family." His laughter echoed through the diner, dark and low. And what makes you think saying that changes anything? His arrogance was palpable, a facade she had to dismantle. Sarah's determination flared. She recalled every moment spent behind the counter, the warmth of the greasy griddle and the laughter shared over plates of fries. Each cherished memory seemed to impart strength, fueling her resolve. This place isn't just a business to me, it's my family's legacy. I won't let you destroy it. A flicker of surprise crossed his face before it vanished, seamlessly replaced by the practiced, condescending smirk. What's a little waitress like you think she can do against me? His dismissal unsettled her. He saw her as nothing but a fleeting shadow in his empire. But his scrutiny ignited something deep within her. In that heated moment, a realization dawned. She wasn't just a waitress. In her hands lay the power of a decision, one that could shift the dangerously stagnant dynamics of her life and the life of her family. The diner represented years of struggle and sacrifice, its walls echoing with resilience. But Tony couldn't see that. He was too wrapped in his own greed. Every battle her parents faced was etched into her consciousness, and she was the sum of their fight. She let that knowledge galvanize her. You think I'm powerless? You don't know what I'm capable of. I've fought for my family my entire life. You don't intimidate me. For the first time, she saw a hint of wariness in his eyes. He leaned back, arms crossed, as if trying to reassess the threat she posed. She had awakened a part of him that wasn't just about intimidation. Perhaps there was a reluctant respect blooming deep down. Fine then, let's make this interesting. If you want to keep your little diner, show me you can stand up to more than just words. His voice was casual, but excitement crackled beneath it. Let's say you prove your worth to me. If you pass a little test, I might reconsider our arrangement. Her heart raced in her chest. A test? In a cruel twist of fate, she was being drawn deeper into his dangerous world, one that traveled far beyond the confines of the diner. Yet she could not falter. What other choice did she have? It was a gamble, but perhaps it was also an opportunity to learn about herself, to explore the edges of bravery she had yet to tap into. Sarah's mind whirled with uncertainty and apprehension, but determination overpowered her fears. What's the test? Meet me tomorrow at the old mill, just after dusk. Bring someone with you, and I'll give you the details. His smile was smug, and he stood to leave, a towering figure draped in menace. As the door swung closed behind him, Sarah felt a wave of conflicting emotions, fear mixed with an adrenaline rush. Tomorrow would push her boundaries in a way she never anticipated. As she sat in the empty diner, contemplating her next step, a realization struck her. This encounter was not merely about the diner. It was a pivotal moment to challenge everything she thought she knew about her courage, her capacity to fight back. The stakes had risen dramatically, thrusting Sarah into a battleground of necessity and self-discovery. She might be stepping into the darkness of Tony's world, but she would do it armed with the light of her family's love and legacy. As the shadows lengthened outside, she wondered who she could take with her to the old mill. Courage was infectious, and perhaps she needed to summon allies in this unexpected war. Perhaps it was time to confront her daughter Mia, to show her that bravery wasn't just a story, but a choice that defined their lives. The next day loomed ahead like a storm on the horizon, and uncertain whether she was choosing a path of empowerment or one of danger, Sarah prepared herself for whatever might come. Later, as she lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the thought echoed in her mind. What if this was the moment that finally transformed her life? What if she could emerge from this forced confrontation as more than just a caretaker? Tomorrow could define everything. But the question lingered. What was she truly prepared to risk for the legacy that meant so much? The sun barely broke through the horizon, yet Sarah was already wide awake, staring into the darkness of her room as thoughts collided in her mind. This was no ordinary morning. The weight of her decision pressed heavily on her chest. She was not merely preparing for a confrontation, she was stepping into a proving ground. Mia stirred, her sleepy voice breaking the silence. "Mom?" There was an innocence in her daughter's tone that evoked a wave of protective instinct in Sarah. "Are you okay?" Reminded of what was at stake, Sarah turned to face Mia, her heart racing anew. "I'm fine, sweetheart. Just thinking." She smiled, but it felt shaky, a thin layer of reassurance over her spiraling thoughts. "About the diner?" Mia's eyes were wide with apprehension. "Something like that. It was now or never. They needed to talk about courage and family legacy. Mia, can you come sit with me for a moment?" As the 11-year-old crawled onto the bed, Sarah felt the swell of emotion threatening to spill. She took a deep breath. "There's something important I need you to understand." Mia looked up, her gaze earnest and curious. "What is it?" "I have to stand up for our diner today. It's not just a job, it's who we are. And I want you to know that sometimes standing up for something means taking risks." "But what if something bad happens? What if he hurts you?" Alarm flickered in Mia's eyes, and Sarah felt the pang of her daughter's worry. "I know it's scary, but we can't let fear rule our lives. I want you to be brave too. Remember that story I told you about Grandma? How she fought to keep this place open?" Mia nodded slowly, her brow furrowing deeper. "Yeah, you said she was a hero." "Yes, exactly. Bravery isn't about being fearless, it's about doing what's right, even when you're afraid. Today, I'll be facing a tough challenge, and I need you to believe in me. I want you to see what courage looks like." That seemed to resonate with Mia, but Sarah knew the path ahead would be perilous. She couldn't shake the worry that wrapped around her like a cold hand. After breakfast, Sarah donned her favorite blue jacket, the one her mother used to wear, hoping it would envelop her in the warmth of her family's history. It felt like armor. Heading towards the mill, she mentally replayed each skill she had honed over the years in the diner: efficient turn-taking, quick to think under pressure, resourceful navigating of customer complaints. Yet she hadn't prepared for a test by someone like Tony. As the shadows lengthened, she could see the old mill looming ahead, its history steeped in neglect and whispers of the past. She parked and stepped out, heart racing as a gust of wind tossed her hair. No backing out now. She took a moment to center herself, breathing in the cool air. Just as she turned to move forward, she saw Mia approaching, her own face set with determination. "Mia, you shouldn't be here. It's dangerous," Sarah said, a wave of fear washing over her. "I'm here to support you, Mom. I want to show you that I believe in you," her daughter replied, voice firm despite the tremor in her hands. That simple declaration sunk deep into Sarah's heart, igniting a spark she hadn't anticipated. Together, they pressed on, entering the mill's shadowy expanse. Muffled voices trickled from within, and the atmosphere thickened with uncertainty. Her breath quickened, a testament to the storm of emotions roiling inside her. Today would demand everything she had, and she was steeling herself against the tumultuous tide ahead. It was time to confront not just Tony, but her own fears and limitations. As they stepped closer, she could almost taste the impending confrontation, a mix of adrenaline and dread surging through her veins. Would she rise to the occasion? Could she transform this fear into the fuel for her fight? Yet, amid all these swirling thoughts, lingering doubts gnawed at her resolve. As they reached the entrance, Sarah faced a powerful realization. Today wouldn't just define the diner, it would redefine her. The door creaked open, revealing darkness, and Sarah whispered a silent plea to her hidden strength. With Mia by her side, she stepped further into the abyss. But little did she know, the test ahead would challenge her in ways she could never imagine. Inside, the unexpected awaited, setting the stage for choices that would alter their lives forever. What new force would she have to confront? Would she find allies in this dark corner of the world? Or would she stand alone in her most transformative moment yet? The air inside the mill was thick and stale, an unsettling mix of forgotten memories and looming threats. Sarah's heart pounded, each beat echoing in her ears as if urging her to make sense of the chaos ahead. Mia's hand gripped hers tightly, their bond a fragile anchor in the tempest swirling around them. Voices drifted from a dimly lit area, illuminated only by slivers of sunlight breaking through the cracks in the boarded-up windows. She couldn't shake off the creeping sense of foreboding. What was she really walking into? Her mind raced through every scenario, the negotiations on the brink of disaster, dangerous words exchanged, and the stark possibility of her world crumbling around her. "Mia, you need to stay close," she whispered, her eyes scanning the shadowy corners, searching for any hint of Tony or his men. Mia nodded, but Sarah sensed her daughter's uncertainty. In that moment, a swell of fear surged through her. She was responsible not only for the diner's fate, but for the safety of the one person she cherished above all. "Mom," Mia's voice broke through the haze, pulling her back. "What if we just leave? What if we find another place? Just somewhere safer?" The thought hung heavy in the air, and Sarah felt a pang of indecision. Could she not only let go of the diner, but also the legacy that represented generation after generation of struggle? Her shoulders tensed, reminding her of the inheritance of courage she carried. Grandma's fiery spirit had been alive in those walls, tilting the scales of fortune back toward those who dared to fight. "I can't abandon our history, Mia. If I give in now, we risk losing everything, our home, our memories," she said, her resolve crystallizing amid doubt. As the muffled conversation grew louder, Sarah caught a glimpse of a figure, Tony, flanked by two intimidating men. His casual demeanor belied the danger he represented. The way he leaned against the wall, arms crossed, sent a cold wave of fear crashing over her. This wasn't just a simple business negotiation, it felt personal. With every step she took, Sarah felt a transformation shift within her. Each footfall was a reminder of the strength she had cultivated over years behind the diner's counter, the countless moments spent fostering relationships with customers, learning to navigate hostility with grace. Every ounce of those experiences built her foundation, and she would need every bit of it now. "Mom, don't!" Mia's warning resonated with urgency, but Sarah shook her head, silencing the doubt. "No more fear, Mia," she asserted, finding her voice growing steadier despite the storm inside. "This is about standing up for what's right, for us, for the diner." The words rang true, echoing back to her own lessons about courage. She wasn't just facing Tony, she was confronting her own inner demons, the live wires of fear and self-doubt. Today was about proving that legacy could triumph over intimidation. With one last glance at Mia, she stepped forward, her heart pounding with determination as the confrontation came into view. The shadows and light danced on the edges of Tony's presence, but she wouldn't let him steal this moment from her. "Tony!" she called out, her voice steady despite the tremors deep within. In that heartbeat, everything in her shifted, the apprehension, the self-doubt, replaced by a fierce resolve. She was more than just a diner owner, she was a defender of her family's legacy, and today she would reclaim her power. But as the confrontation began, she sensed an unsettling shift in the atmosphere, one she hadn't anticipated. What secrets lay in wait that would reshape the narrative? Would this audacity lead to her triumph, or was a much darker revelation about to unfurl before her very eyes? Sarah felt the air grow heavier, almost electric, as she stood firmly, her voice echoing in the silent desperation of the mill. Tony turned slowly, his smirk barely masking the condescension that dripped from his demeanor. She had stepped into a lion's den, yet all her years spent behind that diner counter rose up within her, bolstering her courage. "Mia, stay back," she said, with a slight glance over her shoulder. Her daughter's presence was a steadying force for her, yet she couldn't afford to let concern undermine her determination now. She was here to negotiate, not just for the diner, but for a future that felt vulnerable and fleeting. "Sarah," Tony called, his voice smooth yet laced with menace. "Didn't expect to see you here. I thought you were smart enough to avoid trouble." Trouble finds me often enough, Tony, but I'm not backing down. She felt the tremor of her own words resonate in the small space, a challenge echoing back at her. Could she hold on to that defiance? His eyes narrowed, the laughter disappearing, replaced by the steely gaze of someone who viewed this as a game. You have no idea what you're dealing with. You think your stand is noble, but it's just reckless. In that moment, the frivolity in her pulse was replaced by a burning conviction. He underestimated her, and this miscalculation would cost him more than he realized. And you think your threats are enough to scare me? You don't know me, Tony. I've fought tooth and nail to keep my family's history alive. You think you can intimidate me into submission? I won't let you. A flicker of surprise crossed his face, but it was quickly swallowed by a smirk. The two men flanking him stepped closer, the unspoken message heavy with intimidation. Sarah took a breath, centering herself. This was her moment, and she could either crumble or pivot into a new trajectory, one that redefined her power. "Mia, I need you to trust me," she whispered, hoping her daughter could see through the uncertainty that threatened to creep back in. This wasn't just about the diner anymore. It was about standing up against her own worst fears. With each word exchanged, she felt the pulse of new instincts awakening inside her, a realization that she had been preparing for this confrontation for years. She had navigated too many difficult customers, diffused tension in the diner too often to falter now. But this was different. This was a life and death battle for the very essence of who she was. "Listen closely, Tony," she said, her voice steady as she leaned forward slightly. "I know your ways. Manipulation only works on the weak. I'm not falling for that. The diner will stay open, and you won't run me out." He laughed, but there was an edge of uncertainty there, a ripple in his confidence. "You think you can win this? You think you're a match for me? I'm not just fighting for a building. I'm fighting for my family, my legacy, and my right to choose my own path," she articulated, each word intentionally sculpting her resolve. "So bring whatever you have. I'll be standing my ground." For the first time, she saw a flicker of doubt in Tony's eyes. The realization washed over her. She was transforming. Until this moment, she had felt her power slipping away, but now she was seizing it. Back. The urge to flee turned to an eagerness to confront, yet the shadows still whispered secrets, ones she somehow sensed were lurking just beyond her immediate vision. The stakes were terrifyingly high, and she couldn't shake the feeling that more was at play here than mere negotiation. As the silence grew heavier, a thought flickered in her mind like a match ignited against the darkness. Why was he so intent on claiming the diner? The revelation might shift the ground beneath her very feet. "Tony," she finally asked, "what do you really want from me?" At that pivotal moment, the air shifted and the tension snapped like a tightrope ready to break. His gaze hardened, and she braced herself for the unexpected truth that would lay bare the labyrinth of their confrontation, a revelation that could either shatter her resolve or elevate her fight to an unprecedented level. What had she truly uncovered in this moment? The hard lines of Tony's face softened momentarily, revealing a glimpse of something human beneath the menace. "What I want?" He leaned in closer, his eyes narrowing as if sizing her up for the next move in this precarious game. "You think this is just about the diner?" Sarah's heart raced, her pulse and urgent drumbeat in her ears. She had expected confrontation, but this twist, this pivot in his demeanor, caught her off guard. She squared her shoulders, unwavering. "As long as you're involved, I know it's more than that. You don't just want a building, you want control, but I refuse to be a pawn in your game." Of all the challenges she had faced, this was the most daunting. To stand before him, to confront him, both verbally and mentally, sparked a wildfire of confidence inside. Yet the question lingered. How far was she willing to go? What was she capable of? "Control comes with power, Sarah," he said, his voice low and taunting. "And you have none left." A wave of indignation washed over her. She had depended on others for too long, waiting for permission instead of seizing opportunities. Here was the chance to change, to shape an identity that wasn't whittled down to the sum of her fears. "You're wrong. I have control over my choices. I'm not afraid to challenge you. That's power." "Is it?" He smirked, but this time there was less certainty behind it. "You'll soon realize that you are unarmed in this battle." Armed or not, standing here against him felt like more than an obligation. It was a transformative awakening. The echoes of her upbringing played in her mind. The resilience her parents had shown, the spirit of the diner that had fed generations. Now she had to harness that legacy. "Maybe," she replied, exerting every ounce of her resolve. "But I've learned to be resourceful. I've balanced problems and cooked up solutions for years. I can think my way out of this." His grin faltered, replaced by a flicker of uncertainty. For a brief second, she could see the wheels turning in his mind, perhaps contemplating whether she could be the unexpected variable he had not planned for. The stakes felt higher now. She was not just fighting for survival, but for a radical evolution of her identity. Then she recalled the notebook she carried in her bag, her plans, sketches for the diner's revival, an idea for a community event that could enhance business. Ideas born from hard work and passion, the very essence of her vision. "And if I invite you to walk through those ideas with me," she offered, seizing the moment, "talk about how we could both benefit. Profitability for me, and a share for you. Your name in lights, as it should be, not through intimidation, but through partnership." Tony's surprise morphed into curiosity. He was intrigued by her proposition. A glimmer of desperation danced in his eyes. "You think you can buy me off with empty promises? You don't understand my world. For too long I've tiptoed around that idea, but don't mistake my offer for desperation. You're underestimating me, Tony." Calmly, she faced him. "You're afraid of what I can become. You're not just fighting me, you're fighting me at my best." She stepped back slightly, heart melding the pride and fear swirling inside her. Had she truly gone off script, or had she finally stepped onto a stage of her making? Was this the defining moment that could dictate the course of her life? As the heavy silence enveloped them both, she realized a truth pulsing with clarity. This was not merely about her diner, it was about her own metamorphosis. A realization that giving into oblivion was too easy. She was choosing to confront and evolve. Straining against a yawn of uncertainty, she steadied herself for the unfolding paradox. "Tell me what you really want, Tony. Speak plainly, because it's time I understood how deep your hold extends." Suddenly, the mill felt like a battlefield, and Sarah, the warrior, on the verge of an unexpected, thrilling confrontation. As the fog of their fragile understanding hung heavily in the air, one question rose above all. Would the truth set her free or bind her tighter? The answer awaited, suspended in the charged atmosphere of their standoff. Tony's hardened expression shifted yet again, this time tightening into a frown that suggested a calculation was taking place behind those guarded eyes. He studied her as if searching for any sign of weakness. "You believe you're in control, don't you?" he challenged, voice low and menacing. "Tell me, Sarah, what makes you think you could possibly interest someone like me?" She drew a breath, steadied by the realization that her words had not only reached him, but ignited a spark of curiosity. "Because I know this diner is more than bricks and mortar. It's a community hub that people rely on. I've seen it bring joy and solace. That legacy can translate into profit, and you know it." Tony's smirk returned, albeit with hints of intrigue. "So you plan to use nostalgia to reel me in? You think memories will keep the doors open? You're naive, and it shows." "No," she replied firmly. "I think combining tradition with innovation is what will turn things around. This diner can evolve. You want control? Fine. Let's shift that power dynamic. I can leverage the diner, but I need someone with your resources. Pandering to emotional appeal won't lead you anywhere. His voice dropped, a dangerous edge creeping in. You see, we are not in the business of dreams. We're in the business of survival. That word, survival, triggered something deep within her. Her life had been shaped by survival, from her childhood in the neighborhood to the struggles of keeping the diner running amidst bigger chains and corporate pressure. She tightened her grip on her notebook, slid into her bag. Perhaps, but survival doesn't have just one path. I've seen what tenacity can accomplish. I've built this place up from nothing, and I can do it again, even with you looming over me. She could feel a pulse racing in her veins, her heart hammering as she pushed deeper into the conversation. Striking the right balance of challenge and respect wasn't easy, but she had to try if there was a chance of shifting Tony's mindset. The stakes were soaring. Do you think appealing to my vanity will work? I'm not so easily swayed. Then let's talk business, she urged, drawing him into specifics. Your resources could transform the diner into a venue, not just for food, but for events, cooking classes, and local art exhibits. People will flock in, and you'll get your cut without the need to intimidate or control. A beat of silence lingered. She felt his mind ticking, the internal conflict swirling beneath that steely exterior. Uncertainty clashed against his instincts, and she could taste the moment's potential shift in the air. Tell me, he said finally, voice measured, how do you propose to entice them? This isn't just about aesthetic looks. You have to bring in something they can't refuse. Her pulse quickened, sensing an opening. For all his intimidation, he was listening. I'll start with the community's stories, the people who've walked through those doors and their favorites. We can host evenings where guests can share their tales. A blend of food, memories, and perhaps a hint of nostalgia can bring them back. I don't just want to feed them, I want to connect. This was new territory for her. She had never approached strategy from an emotional side before, yet it resonated with her core belief in the diner's spirit. Would this personal touch be enough to spark his interest? Tony leaned back, contemplating, his fingers drumming on the table's surface. You're proposing a gamble, Sarah. A compelling one, but a gamble. Nonetheless, how will you fund it? You're talking about an investment. In that moment, Sarah felt the foundations of her dreams teetering over an abyss of uncertainty. The chance of dependence on his approval and resources sent a shiver through her resolve. Would she risk the very essence of what she believed in by shifting her focus to a partnership with Tony? I don't know, she admitted, letting the truth spill, but I have a vision, and that means something. If we can turn this place around, I can secure funding through pre-sales, perhaps even grants aimed at supporting small businesses. Tony's eyes narrowed as he scrutinized her. She could see the gears turning. Was he processing the potential or merely amused by her audacity? Interesting, he murmured, a hint of something unidentifiable in his voice. You may have more to you than I initially thought. But remember this, ventures like these don't come without strings attached. Whether you like it or not, you run the risk of losing yourself in the process. The implication rattled her. Strings attached. What would she be willing to sacrifice for the diner's survival? And would the partnership ultimately reflect progress or a step into shadows she couldn't return from? What's it worth to you? She found herself asking, challenging him to define the terms. He paused, the weight of his thoughts palpable. Curious about desperation, aren't you? Curious about truth, she shot back. Besides, it's time someone put all the cards on the table. In this game, we both have risks to accept. The moment tingled with a potent mixture of threat and opportunity, an invitation into a dark dance she was desperate to lead. You're either brave or foolish, Sarah. I suspect it's a cocktail of both. Perhaps, she replied, a grin forming on her lips as nerves coiled in her stomach. But one thing's for sure, we're closer to a deal than we were just moments ago. Are you ready to make real moves in this world, or will you let the game consume you? With the weight of her challenge suspended in the air, she awaited his response, both terrified and exhilarated. As she stared into his eyes, she realized a truth she had only begun to glimpse. Sometimes, the perilous path toward transformation demanded a leap she had yet to fully comprehend, and that leap, she knew, was only the beginning. Sarah's hand hovered over her notebook, her pulse echoing the uncertainty coursing through her. The room felt thick with tension, and it was clear that the stakes had dramatically escalated in the last few moments. Did she truly have the wherewithal to push through this negotiation with Tony, a man who seemed all too willing to reduce her dreams to mere numbers and spreadsheets? His dark gaze bore into her, challenging and probing. Was he captivated by her audacity or merely waiting for her to falter? "What you've suggested could turn the diner into something remarkable," he finally conceded, his tone heavy with contemplation. "But it's also risky. Risk is dangerous, especially for someone like you who's still finding her footing." "That's exactly why it's worth pursuing," Sarah countered, fighting against the vulnerability creeping into her voice. "Every moment in this diner has been a risk. Nothing has come easily, and I've earned my way here. I'm driven by more than just survival. I'm driven by a vision." Tony's amusement resurfaced, yet it was layered with something else, curiosity. "So tell me, what is this vision?" She paused, realizing that this could be her moment to articulate what had previously remained nebulous in her mind. The diner isn't simply a place to eat, it's a stage for stories. Transforming it into a venue where locals can express themselves and their connections will create a buzz. We can create nights that draw people in, where every meal tells a story. Tony's skepticism hung in the air like static electricity. "And if they don't show, what will you do then? Sit back and wait for nostalgia to do the work?" A flash of anger ignited inside her. She was tired of being dismissed, tired of being viewed as simply a sentimental dreamer. "No, I won't wait. I'll work. I'm going to implement targeted marketing through social media, partner with local influencers, and create themed nights that celebrate our history while fostering innovation. That way, even if people don't care about the diner's past, they'll want to be part of its future." Tony leaned forward, intrigued. "Innovative? But how do you convince someone like me to invest in it?" "I'm not asking for a charity," she replied softly, forcing herself to maintain eye contact to reveal her strength. "I'm proposing a partnership. I want you to explore this legacy with me, not just as a financier, but as someone who understands the power of community." "Community," he repeated, letting the word hang between them. "Your nostalgia is your strongest asset, but it's also your greatest risk. How do I know you won't buckle under the pressure?" Her breath quickened, the weight of his scrutiny intensifying. The depth of her experience churned inside her, waking up in the middle of the night, worrying about every penny, making hard choices that could break a lesser person. The diner was her fortress and sanctuary, but it also stood as a testament to her resilience. "Because I'm not just opening a diner, I'm refusing to stay silent. I've fought too hard to be dismissed. I cannot fail." Tony's demeanor shifted subtly. A hint of respect flickered across his face, but she knew it was fleeting. "But this could backfire, Sarah. It could bring escalation from forces you can't predict. Are you ready for the consequences of playing this game?" The clarity of his warning struck a chord deep within her. A chill raced down her spine, urging her to fully contemplate the real dangers lying ahead. "I have no illusions about that," she confessed, her voice steady. "I understand. The risks. But this diner, my life's work, is worth every danger I might face." "Passionate," he commented, but there was a challenge in his tone. "Let's see if that passion can drive results. I'm willing to consider your proposal, but you'd better be prepared. I won't tolerate failure. What's your next step?" The weight of decision pressed on her. Could she move forward into this uncharted territory with Tony? Was it worth the potential threat looming over her future? I'll start gathering data, talking to loyal customers, and structuring a pilot program for these event nights, Sarah stated, summoning determination from deep within. And while I do that, I'll be mapping out every detail you require to convince you this venture is worth taking the leap. Just as the air seemed to shift, the door swung open. A stray customer walked in, the bell above jingling cheerfully, but the welcome sensation contrasted sharply with Sarah's wising apprehension. Every outsider presence seemed to layer additional scrutiny on her fraught negotiation, reminding her of the stakes she was gambling against. "Remember, Sarah," Tony warned, his voice low but firm, "the leap you're talking about can take you high or lead you into the deep. Choose wisely." His words reverberated in her mind long after he left, and as she felt that chill creep up her spine again, she realized the leap ahead was going to test every ounce of strength she had. What transformations awaited her as she navigated this uncharted terrain? What lengths would she go to fulfill the dream? And would she emerge unscathed? Both fear and excitement took hold as she turned back to her notebook, ready to chart the next steps. The biggest gamble of her life was just beginning. As sunlight filtered through the diner's windows, casting playful shadows on the checkered floor, Sarah sat at her usual booth, her notebook spread open in front of her. The faint smell of coffee permeated the air, mingling with the warmth of freshly baked pastries. She needed this moment of calm before the storm that lay ahead. Each flutter of the pages seemed to draw her deeper into a sea of possibilities she had begun to navigate. What if she executed everything flawlessly? What if those events she envisioned could truly breathe life into the diner? The once faint images of vibrant evenings filled with laughter and connection now loomed like giants ready to take shape. But self-doubt hovered uninvited, creeping into her thoughts and attempted to poison her resolve. As she penned her ideas, she felt the shadows of skepticism close in around her. Could she actually connect with her customers, engage them in a way that sparked a community dialogue? Her mind raced, tackling the challenge of marketing and innovative programming. She would reach out to loyal patrons, capture their stories, and figure out how to weave them into her plan. Yet the nagging voice of uncertainty reminded her that success depended on more than just enthusiasm. It necessitated a delicate balance of creativity and hard data. Sarah took a deep breath, pushing herself toward the unavoidable. Her laptop felt like an extension of her thoughts as she began to research targeted marketing techniques. Digging into analytics, she noted how understanding her audience could manifest the diner's potential. Details clipped from various articles discussed social media strategies, creative campaigns, and the importance of community engagement. With every piece she absorbed, her plan solidified into a more tangible form. Hours slipped by, and the sun's trajectory shifted outside, painting the walls in soft evening hues. A sense of urgency began to flower within her. She scheduled meetings with regular customers and reached out to local influencers, a bold leap for someone who had prided herself on her quiet, modest demeanor. But it was not just her diner at stake. It was about drawing on the courage she had cultivated through countless challenges. But even as she took these steps, a gnawing awareness shadowed her growing ambition. What would happen when she faced Tony again, this time presenting not just ideas, but also intricate plans filled with data, numbers, and potential pitfalls? Would he take her seriously, or would he return to dismissive skepticism, throwing cold water on her dreams yet again? That evening, while flicking through the notebook filled with rough sketches, the door swung open again. The atmosphere seemed to shift, and Sarah's heart thundered against her ribcage as she looked up to see Tony entering the diner. He strode in confidently, a palpable aura of authority trailing behind him. "Saw the light on and thought I'd drop by," he commented, casually but fixed her with a penetrating gaze. "I trust you've been busy?" His presence reverberated with a mix of intimidation and curiosity, awakening both her ambition and trepidation. Sarah felt her determination harden in the face of his query. Here was the opportunity she had been gearing up for. She had to show him the transformation she envisioned. With a steady voice, she summarized the developments she had forged into her proposal, detailing her findings and plans for pilot nights. "I can't promise it will be easy," she admitted, "but I believe that with the right push, we can attract a crowd that will cheer for the diner's revival." "You really think that's enough?" His tone had shifted slightly, curiosity mixing with that ever-present hint of skepticism. "Not just think, I know it," she countered, emboldened by the conviction that filled her. "This is bigger than profit margins. It's about reclaiming the diner as a cornerstone of our community. Can you understand that?" "Interesting," he mused, leaning back slightly, nudging the edge of skepticism. "But do you even know the challenges you're facing, Sarah?" With that interrogation lingering like thunder, Sarah felt the familiar push of doubt coupled with the fire of determination. This was her moment, but it demanded more than mere words. It called for transparency and vulnerability in the face of uncertainty. As the conversation unfolded, she couldn't shake the feeling that decisions loomed like shadows ready to engulf her. With every answer she crafted, another question surfaced from within. Was she willing to risk everything for this dream, even if it meant facing forces darker than her determination? What awaited her in Tony's assessment of her idea? Would it lead her to an unexpected betrayal or elevate her into previously unreachable heights? She would have to find out quickly, as time was already running thin, and the stakes only grew higher. Every moment weighed heavily, urging her onward into unsettling possibilities. As Tony's gaze pierced deeper into her resolve, a newfound sense of urgency brought clarity. She was on the edge of a precipice, teetering between destiny and despair. The leap would prove either her liberation or her downfall. The sun had just begun to set, casting a warm glow through the windows of Millville Diner. The patrons' laughter harmonized with the clinking of cutlery, creating a comforting backdrop as Sarah stood behind the counter. Today marked a pivotal moment in her life and in the legacy of her family's diner. She felt resolute, ready to face Tony for the last time, her thoughts swirling with everything she had fought for. Each smile she shared with customers, every story exchanged, was a reminder of what she cherished most. The diner had become a sanctuary, not just for her family, but for the entire community. She had witnessed the transformation in her own heart. The shy, uncertain woman who once felt suffocated by her circumstances was now grounded in purpose and clarity. Lost in reverie, she was jolted by the sound of the bell above the door. Tony strode in, a shadow of confidence trailing behind him, eyes scanning the room with a calculative glint. "Sarah," he called out, a hint of curiosity underlining the casual tone. "Thought we could finalize our deal today?" Her pulse quickened at his presence. "Absolutely," she replied, matching his gaze. The time had come to solidify her vision and assert her stance in this fight. "All right then," Tony stepped closer, flipping through the notes she had provided. "Let's see what you've got." The weight of their past encounters loomed heavily as she meticulously laid out the strategic plan she had developed. The community events, local partnerships, and stories that could weave a deeper connection with patrons. Each word resonated with sincerity as she articulated the diner's role in rekindling a sense of belonging in Millville. "Impressive," Tony remarked, his eyebrow arching with intrigue. "But how do you expect to ensure profitability? Nostalgia doesn't pay the bills." "I'm not relying solely on nostalgia," she answered swiftly, confidence bubbling within her. "What I'm proposing is an experience. By integrating community engagements like storytelling nights and culinary showcases led by local chefs, we won't just serve food. We'll create a tapestry of cultures, memories, and pride." An intense silence descended as Tony weighed her words. For the first time, Sarah noticed a shift in his demeanor, curiosity intermingled with skepticism. He wasn't just playing the role of a mafia boss, but someone intrigued by the tenacity of her spirit. "All right, I'll bite," he finally said, leaning in as if trusting her with a secret. "Let's delve deeper. How would you pull this off without stretching yourself too thin?" That moment felt electric, a turning point where she could either retreat or leap boldly into the wildfire of ambition. "I plan to recruit local talent, people who believe in our diner's revival, young artists, emerging cooks, and storytellers who seek a platform. Together, we can breathe life into these walls. and I'll manage the operations, ensuring everything remains structured. You've certainly thought this through, he conceded, the tension in the air dissipating marginally. Let me ask you this. If things go up in flames, what's your contingency plan? The stakes heightened, not just financial implications, but her sense of self-worth hung in the balance. If things falter, I'll readjust and adapt. I've learned to improvise, to pivot when challenges arise. But one thing is clear, I will not allow this diner to vanish without a fight. Quite the bold statement, he chuckled, amusement barely hiding the respect creeping into his tone. But that's the spirit I want to see. Let's test it out then. Under the mounting pressure, Sarah felt a veil lift. She was no longer a caretaker confined by circumstances. She was a leader, an architect of change for her family legacy. As they outlined terms of their partnership, something inside her clicked. She felt the heavy chains of inferiority break away one link at a time. Deal, Tony said finally, extending his hand. We'll bring Millville back to life together, and I want a cut of the action. Taking his hand, she felt fire ignite within her. Together then, but this diner remains our heartbeat, not a trophy for you to display. Our success will come from the community's pulse, and I'll ensure that. As he released her grip, Sarah watched Tony's expression shift. No longer the menacing figure that loomed over her heart, he now stood as an ally who recognized her potential. There was mutual respect, hard-fought and well-earned. In the weeks that followed, Millville transformed. The diner buzzed with energy as stories were shared across tables, laughter echoed more loudly, and the community began to congregate in ways it hadn't in years. With every event, her confidence solidified, her competence recognized not just by Tony, but by the community that thrived within her. Mia watched in awe, her admiration for her mother's bravery blooming. Sarah had become the hero she once admired in tales. Amidst the whirlwind, Sarah stood at the diner's entrance, watching the evening unfold with satisfaction. For the first time, she understood the power of choice, that navigating adversity had led her to this moment of triumph. "I did it, Mom!" exclaimed, rushing over, a vibrant smile illuminating her face. Sarah knelt, eyes twinkling. "We did it, sweetheart. This is what happens when you stand your ground." She felt a profound sense of fulfillment wrap around her, an acknowledgement of not just what she had accomplished, but who she had become. The barriers of self-doubt had been shattered, revealing a woman capable of creating change, a woman whose story would now help shape others. As the sun dipped below the horizon, illuminating what had once felt impossible, she whispered a silent vow. This was just the beginning. With the diner restored, she was no longer just a caretaker. She was the architect of her destiny. Now, more than ever, Sarah believed in impact, in legacy, and in the strength that comes from within. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It truly makes a difference. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true fans of personal overcoming stories understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.